And moreover, if I find that I'm short of time all the time.
Hello.
Hello.
Good
Hi.
evening.
Very good evening.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. So, my name
Right.
is Divyam. Welcome to your Clapingo session.
Everyone is familiar with Divyam. Frankly speaking, since the moment I got to know that I'm going to have a session with you, I'm having butterflies, and you please try your best so that this session runs very well. I'm afraid that because of me, I don't want to get it spoiled. Reason being, I would like to mention you over here. The moment I got to know that I'm going to have a session with Divyam, I got ecstatic at the moment I was driving my car. I was coming back home. But at the same time, I started having butterflies. Reason being, I started my journey after watching your video with Arushi on YouTube, my
Hmm.
journey of learning English. Before that, I didn't know that such kind of platforms they exist. And after that, I watched so many of your videos, and majority of them have been with Arushi. And during the conversation, I realized that Devyam is not a small thing. It's a sort of like when you say hype is created among us, the learners, that everybody is mad to book the session with you, and you are not available. And frankly speaking, after my session, that subscription was over, I took another subscription, but every time, though it for me, having a session with you is a dream in a dream, right? But I always try to search you, and it was there because I got to know from your videos that you are not available, and might be you might be busy with other stuff, and you used to have very few sessions. And for the last 1 month, again, the thought came in my mind that I should start my sessions with Clapingo just for the reason that I want to have session with you. I wanted to have session with you. And the moment today I was told, okay, Kabaljeet, we are going to have a session at 6 with the Divyam. It was, oh, thank God my hands were on the steering. I didn't lift my hands from the steering. But yeah, it's that kind of feeling for me. So I'm not feeling normal at the moment, frankly speaking.
I didn't know you were going to be so incredibly sweet. Thank you so much for all of that. But I don't think I deserve so much, I don't know, praise, I must say, if that's the correct word. It's just a normal
Something
session,
must
don't worry.
definitely be there. Definitely. I have watched your videos initially, but by chance I couldn't get the opportunity to book my session during any of those sessions with you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to provide a lot of hours on Clapingo for other reasons. But now we
Mhm.
are here and we can have an interesting conversation and hopefully you will get the session you hope for.
Yeah, sure. Mm.
So, what would you like to talk about today?
Anything. Anything. My biggest problem is because I'm on my journey of not learning English. I must not say learning English because we all know about the language. The problem with us is that we don't use this language, and our main issue is the conversation to hone our communication skill. Though I'm educated and I know the all theoretical part of it. And whenever you talk, and these days we people are having sessions with the strangers also. This is the kind of scenario you might have seen on the YouTube platform also. That either we join some professional kind of platform where we talk to the expert tutors, or even the strangers are talking to each other. So everyone suggests that you must go for reading. You must develop the habit of reading if you want to hone your communication skill, or watch movies. But Devya, first I want to ask you, what is your take on it? Then I will let you know about my side of the perspective.
So, I think that is good advice. Watching things and reading good books are really important in terms of growing either your vocabulary or your sense of culture of different, countries or religions, because everyone has a different goal. So there are some people who are trying to improve their English because they want to talk to their clients or they want to improve their businesses, right? So it's really important to target a good source and try to understand what you're trying to achieve when you're starting this journey, right? So a lot of people, what they do is they start reading any book, they'll start watching any show, and then they don't get much out of it, which is why Clappingo works, because we understand the client, we understand what they need, what their goals are, right? And then we try to streamline that process. We let you know that okay, if you want to learn to improve your business, then these are some shows that are business oriented or that might give you not just insight about how to use English lingo in business, but also learn things about how businesses work, how in history certain companies have figured out how to deal with certain problems, right? So not only it builds your expertise in English itself, but also other aspects of life, right? Whether it's cultural, professional, educational, historic, it could be anything, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's a good step as long as you do your research and you know what you want from it before you start.
So, but it is not necessary that it applies to everybody, because
Definitely.
everybody has its own, his or her own interest. It depends. It's a matter of interest also. Because if I feel, Devyam, if you don't enjoy reading books, like, you may take it as a drawback. In my case, might be. I tried a number of times to develop this habit, but I couldn't develop this habit of reading. Yeah, if I go back to my memory lane, to my childhood, at that time I had been crazy for these comic books. I still remember their names, but I don't know when throughout my that adolescent phase and the grow youth phase, at what moment of life, everything was left behind. Maybe I became busy with my studies or that kind of stuff. But these days, yeah, I do agree. As I told you, theoretically, I admit it, because any reading write-up is a depiction of the society, any society. And if you are in a habit of reading, definitely you not only come across the vocabulary, the words, but you get to know so many of the other things also, right? But I couldn't do it, or maybe it's not an excuse, but yeah, I always advocate listening to, as compared to, like, if I talk about my case, that I would prefer to listen to the people who converse very well. Again, not listening to, jumping to the native speakers only, because I don't know why, whenever we talk about the language English, we straightway land somewhere in US or in UK. Ultimately, we have to converse with the people around. We have intellectual class around us. So our immediate step is to deal with them, to talk with them. So India itself has its own accent. You got my
Yes.
point. So I listen to the people. There are so many YouTubers, motivational speakers, and whenever I used to have conversations like person like Divyam also. So whenever I come across the words which I find very productive, very catchy, I immediately jotted down that word in my notebook of my smartphone. So I prefer that. I am of that opinion, because in that kind of, when you're exercising your skill this way, practicing your skill this way, you need not to sit, because if you want to read, you should have enough time and temperament also. Two things are needed. You should have time. And if I take my case, I'm busy for 7, 8, or 9 hours in the office, or when I'm coming back, my 2 hours I spend while driving, I move to some other city and then I'm back. And moreover, if I find that I'm short of time all the time, and this is not only the reason, because if you are to chase your passion, then you can spare time. But what do I do, Devyam? On the way, I then switch on some YouTube video and I start listening to that. So I find that benefited for me. If you just have a glimpse of my initial videos when I started my journey 7, 8 months back, um, I remember the moment whenever I used to have the sessions, it would have been like my heart would go like, what should I say? Pit-a-pat. This
Better
word,
factor, yes.
pit-a-pat, right? And since morning, like if I'm having a session at 6 in the evening, and my morning would be like if I'm going to sit for some exam today. And believe me, for initial so many Clapingo sessions, I would take 5 out of 15 minutes, minimum 5, 6 minutes, just to calm down myself and to normalize with the situation. And this outcome, this thing I have gained with experience and with having these sessions, that now I feel I have become a bit better. But yeah, today again, I was feeling the same thing when I was to have the session with you.
Was it, what word would you use for that feeling that you had today?
Butterflies, I was
Right.
having
That is, I
butterflies,
think that would be a symptom. That is what you're feeling physically, right? But what is
nervousness.
the,
Devyam, I want to say nervousness. You let me know what should be my proper word. And I have
no, no,
one
that is
more.
correct.
Okay, having butterflies.
No, nervousness is correct.
Okay, yeah, I was feeling that kind of feeling, nervousness. Another I had already in my mind that I would ask you to make a correction. If I have to say, Divyam, you don't take much sessions. I must say you don't take the sessions or you don't give the sessions. Like when we sit for the exam, we are the student, then we take the exam, right?
Hmm.
And you are the tutor. And for you, what should I say? You don't give the sessions or take the sessions? This is my
I would
query.
say, uh, see, let me just tell you how to fix this uh, problem because I have the same situation sometimes.
Hmm.
Sometimes I don't know which word is appropriate or how to frame the sentence correctly. So this is a little bit of a cheat code. What I do is I completely change the framing of the sentence, right? So instead of saying I'm going to say the sentence, and in my mind I'm like, wait, I'm not sure which word to use, right? So instead of saying that, I'll just say, uh, Divyam, why don't you take sessions anymore? Or just completely flip the sentence by asking something the same. The information is same, but the sentence formation can completely change. You can say, I don't see you on Clapingo anymore. No one posts videos of you. Are you still active on Clapingo? Right? So question is still the same. The information is still the same. But what you do for yourself is you build your confidence by saying, okay, if I don't know what is over there, I won't go there. If it's a gray area, let me avoid it altogether. Let me stay in the green so that it doesn't affect firstly
Hmm.
my train of thought, it doesn't affect my confidence, and I still get the answer that I want, right?
Right.
But to answer your question, this is again how to avoid going into gray areas and
Yes.
being nervous, etc. But to answer your question, I would say that you don't take sessions anymore. That is the correct. Give
You
is
don't
something
take
like I don't
sessions.
give you advice anymore. That is more appropriate, right?
Yeah, yeah. This thing is there already in my mind also. But when you are unable to find the exact word, you try to compensate it using other words so that your meaning gets clear to the other party. It's that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've already answered that question, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So just another, this is not something that is in terms of vocabulary. This is just a mindset correction. I would not say correction, suggestion. Okay. So when you said that when it was confirmed that you're going to take a session with me, you felt nervous, right? I think there's a small clip I saw either on YouTube or Instagram. I'm not sure. Nowadays, reels and shorts are everywhere. So, it's very difficult to keep track of the source. But it said something really cool. It showed a couple of clips of Olympians before their respective events, right? Like a cyclist or a swimmer. And whenever they were being interviewed, then the interviewer said, "Are you nervous for the event?" Because they're either targeting a goal, they're either targeting a record or a medal, something like that, right?
Goal,
So,
of course, goal. It's a goal because they have
yes,
to break their own goal, target, you may
yeah,
say. Yeah.
exactly. So, when they asked that question, every Olympian said, "I'm excited." So, there was a psychologist who was talking on a podcast, and he said, "This is the great power of words. Because instead of saying I'm nervous, they say I'm excited. Because technically speaking, on paper, the symptoms are the same. You either feel jittery, your hands get sweaty because you're nervous, but your hands also get sweaty when you're excited. When you go
Exactly.
to a place where you haven't been in years and you want to either experience something again, you feel excited. I can't wait to get to it. Right? So in your mind, you can, you can trick your mind by, instead of saying I'm nervous, you can say I was really excited to take a session. Right? So this is something that can positively charge your mind instead of being
Yeah.
negative. Because when we say nervous, the first thing that comes to our mind is something that is very defensive. Oh, I hope I don't screw it up. I hope I don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
When you're excited, the opposite happens. I can't wait to ask him that question. I can't wait to see how he deals with that situation. Right?
Yeah.
So I think this is just a
This
small
is all
positive change that you
about the
can make.
mindset. Yeah. You have to
Yes.
train your mindset accordingly. Yeah. This
Yeah,
is a
like
good
they
thing.
say, the brain is a terrible master and an incredible servant.
Correctly said. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the session is about to end, right? I know time flies when you're having
Like
fun. I must say, it was incredible talking to you. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll have another session again, right?
dream come true for me.
You're giving me too much importance. Please don't do that. I'm just
No, no,
another teacher in
it's a
Clapingo.
real kind of feeling. I'm not a girl, young girl of that age where I just want to, it's a serious thing which is coming out of my mind.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It
Great
was really great
session with
talking to you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.